Hello everyone, I'm Elfowls, and today I'm going to bring you coverage of my week 4 of season 11 in the WCL. And before that, I'm going to just go through real quick the transactions that I made. This is kind of midpoint in the season, and I kind of wanted to change up my team a little bit. And the main reason I did this was because a few weeks ago, Jirachi dropped from the Cincinnati Incineroar into the free agent pool. So I decided to make a whole bunch of free agent pool transactions, starting with that Jirachi. We are trading Kaparaja away for it, boosting our steel type slot by 100 points all the way up to 180 points. So Jirachi is now one of my top tiers, and I'm really happy to have like a real good high tier steel type on the team. Kaparaja really wasn't filling the role that I wanted to fill as a steel type. It's a rock setter, it's fairly bulky, but it doesn't quite do either of those things amazing. It's so slow, and it has to take so many hits. You want it to hold Assault Vest to be able to take some of those hits on the special side, be a bulky steel type, but then it can't even set the rocks that you want it to set. It was kind of just having a hard time fitting onto my team. I didn't even bring it once because it didn't feel like it ever had the matchup. So having an actual quote unquote good steel type is going to be great. Jirachi obviously provides a lot of bulk on top of good offenses and good speed, so it can really be as diverse as you want it to. It can be defensive with Wish that can pass to teammates. It can be offensive with Choice Scarf or any number of boosting moves that it can run. It has some really, really diverse options. It obviously still has the Stealth Rocks if you need that slot filled. Definitely, it can take pressure off any number of teammates by being offensive or bulky or a rock setter or scarf support. So it's just something that I'm really excited to use week to week. I think I can bring a different set for it every time and be happy. So that is 100 points that we had to spend for Jirachi. So we're going to spend most of the rest of the transactions kind of spending down so that we can afford this first one. And the first one is going to be Thunderous Incarnate at 140 points down to Rotom Fan at 60. And I think this was a really good deal for me. The main reason I was using Thunderous was for that electric flying typing. I wasn't using it all that offensively even because I just felt I had the offensive roles filled enough already on my team. So I was really using it as a more utility role with things like Defog and Volt Switch to pivot around. And if I'm going to do that with my Electric Flying type, I might as well lean into it. Rotom Fan is even bulkier than Thunderous, and it does lose out on a few things that we'll cover later, but it still has the options of Thunder Wave and Defog to support the team, and it still also has it even has more things like Will-O-Wisp and other support moves that the Rotom forms get. So I'm excited to use this guy. I think he'll be a very fun option that I can put on my team from time to time. Just a neat pivot to get into my better offensive threats. So that does bring us down 80 points. So we need to make up 20 more to make that Jirachi trade work. So while I'm at it, I'm going to also kind of look at the roles my team is filling right now. Jirachi does fill the high tier psychic type role, and so that does mean I should probably trade away the other psychic type that I had. I shouldn't really be relying on those ghost and dark weaknesses too much. I really don't like having any team too weak to them, so I did trade away Slowking for Blastoise. This does make me really sad. Slowking was doing really well on the team, but I do think it's worth it. Jirachi's going to do so many good things for the team, and Blastoise fills the role of a bulky water decently well. Slowking, you're dropping it is obviously losing a fair amount of things. Regenerator is the main one because it helps you take so many hits from so many special attackers. But Blastoise isn't frail or anything. It's still a very good bulky water that can pivot with Flip Turn, and it even has a couple of things that Slowking doesn't that might fit my team pretty well too. It has Rapid Spin, which will definitely help some of the flying types, and in some cases Volcarona, if clearing away those hazards. And it also even has access to Shell Smash. So if I want to go offensive with it, I can. And so those are some pretty cool ideas that I could use with my bulky water. So yeah, that kind of covers the 3 trades I'm making. That they all balance out in points, but I actually have one more to make, and I'm still looking at the roles my team is filling. And now that I have a potential setup sweeper with my water type, I don't really need my other water type at all. And I'm also missing a few things after trading away that Thunderous. So I decided to trade away Gyarados for Tornadus Incarnate. Now Gyarados, like I said, it was kind of filling the role of that setup sweeper bulky water that Blastoise can just do now. So I didn't feel like I needed that role that badly anymore. Gyarados was kind of having a hard time fitting in on the team as well. It just felt like this team isn't particularly good against electric types, so it's just having such an electric weak Mon that it feels exploitable in the team builder. Like, Gyarados could come and be the sweeper, but this Mon could be bulky and just take its hits. This Mon could run a random electric move, so you can't set up on it. These Mons could run Choice Scarf, so you can't really get through a team sweeping. And it just felt very restricted in the team builder. So I want to try Gyarados. I feel like it's an underexplored Mon in Draft League, but maybe another time. And because we were able to get Tornadus out of this exchange, and the main reason I picked that up was because we did lose some rolls with Thundurus. I'm able to keep the base 111 speed tier because, these two are very similar. They have very similar stat spreads. They might even be the same. I don't know. But yeah, we keep the speed tier that would otherwise have made a huge gap between the base 100 Volcarona and Jirachi and the base 125 Weavile. So we got that nice base 111 in there to keep things, keep a nice ladder going there. And then you do still have the abilities Prankster and Defiant to either, with Defiant, discourage Defog, or I guess discourage Intimidate. And then you have Prankster to, be a good utility role. It still has Defog, and you can still use Prankster to kind of stop an emergency sweep. Thundurus did it with Thunder Wave, which losing priority Thunder Wave is unfortunate, but Tornadus does still have priority Tailwind, which is a decent stop to fast things if you want to go that route. So these are the 4 transactions that I made, and this is kind of the team that we're looking at after the transactions. Definitely, I feel like with Jirachi and Blastoise and Rotom, we're now looking at kind of a more well-rounded, balanced team. Definitely a lot of different mons that can fill out different roles. Jirachi, Kommo-o, Blastoise, and like Rotom, they all fill these like either offensive or defensive roles. So you can kind of change it up week to week. I like this a lot because it changes up, what's being offensive, what's being used for hazards or hazard clearing. A lot of roles can be filled by a lot of different Pokemon from week to week, and it just feels like I can, do what I want with each Pokemon. No pressure is on an individual Pokemon to like fill a certain role. Maybe Weavile with the fast attacker role, but Tornadus definitely helps, so that's why I picked that up. These transactions do jack up my speed tiers a little bit. I thought they were really good beforehand, but now they're kind of a little grouped up. Blastoise actually shares a speed tier with Diggersby, and Jirachi shares one with Volcarona. So, it's fine. We are actually a much faster team now. Dropping Slowking and Caporaja will do that, with Cradily now being our slowest Mon and the only Mon below base 60 speed. So that's kind of neat. But I'm really liking this team moving forward, and let's see how it goes moving right into week 4. So join me for that battle. All right, so my week 4 is against Michael and the Kanto Kinglers. This is the rain team of the draft. Pretty dedicated rain, so I kind of knew what to prepare for here. It's kind of a test for my new team. We see Jirachi, Tornadus, and Blastoise showing up, but it is kind of a specialized version of the team since we do have kind of a lot of rain counters here. Blastoise is running Assault Vest, and Cradily is especially defensive with Storm Drain, probably one of the best rain answers you can have. And then even going further, we have especially attacking Scarf Wheezing Galar with the Neutralizing Gas as its ability, so we can outspeed the Swift Simmers and maybe stop the Pelipper from even getting Drizzle up in the first place. Tornadus running Hurricane and a priority Tailwind to hopefully help the rest of the team outspeed the Swift Swimmers. And then the other two, Jirachi is kind of a generalist attacker, and Kommo-o is a special sweeper. That both of them are kind of meant to just be our generalist attackers. So that's the team. So for the lead slot, I actually have the planned lead of Jirachi because we are running a Shuka Berry and Icy Wind for the Landorus, which I think is going to be his lead. So let's get started with that. It's the Magnezone, which does trap Jirachi in most likely, since I'm suspecting Magnet Pull for it. But I actually don't have a problem with this. I'm running Aura Sphere on Jirachi, so I can just go ahead and click that for a likely 2-hit KO of its max HP. And we're going to go ahead and see how much damage that does. So we outspeed, and that is a crit. That's really unfortunate. Electro Web does a little bit of damage back. I'm sorry for that crit. I think we would have 2-hit KO'd anyway. It was a roll, I think. But yeah, this is unfortunate. Even if Magnezone switches out here, it really doesn't have that much utility anymore, just because it's so low health. So, really big swing in my favor early, which is a bit unfortunate. We see it does switch out here to Pelipper, as I just went to finish it off with another Aura Sphere. And now that we have this turn with the Pelipper in, I kind of suspected, I'm especially attacking set, I've revealed that. So this Pelipper should be reasonably scared of a Thunderbolt or Thunder coming its way. So I think this should be a free enough turn to get a Wish going. So I'm just going to go ahead and make the defensive play, as I actually do get that really well as he goes for Protect. And then the next turn, I go ahead and just attack with Psychic as he goes for the knockoff, unfortunately removing the Shuka Berry, which means we aren't as guaranteed a lead or match into Landorus anymore. But, we should still be okay. So, Pelipper's chipped down. I know he wants to save this, but Psychic looks pretty free into anything that wants to switch in, so I'm just going to go ahead and go for that. As he does come in with Seismitoad, and Psychic goes in for a little under half. Now, yeah, Jirachi did work out really well as a lead. Chip down the Magnezone and Pelipper quite a bit, and then chip Seismitoad down a little bit. But I do need to switch out here. There's an Earthquake threat coming my way, and my answers to the rain threats are going to be either Blastoise or Cradily for most cases. And I decided to go with Blastoise because this Seismitoad has revealed that it can run Focus Punch in previous weeks in the season. So I'm just going to make the safe play, go with Blastoise. And we are going to take just Liquidation, so Cradily would have been perfectly safe, and it reveals Life Orb right there. Now, if there is any room for a misplay, now that we're a couple turns into the battle, it's right here, as I, instead of going for the kill here, we do get our Rain Dish recovery, which is nice against Rain. It knocks off our Assault Vest, and instead of going for a stronger attack, we just flip turn out, leaving it at 4%. I do think in hindsight I should have gone for a Scald, but I was kind of covering for maybe the Kingdra coming in to take a water move. So I don't hate this play, but I do think it leaves me in a pretty bad spot, the way things worked out. I have a couple options to switch into Seismitoad from this free pivot. Weezing is my only one that immediately outspeeds and KOs it with the Scarf and I keep forgetting the name of the ability, Neutralizing Gas. But I actually didn't want to reveal that. I don't want to bring that in offensively because I think it'll tip him off that something's up. So instead, I'm going to go into the safe play of Cradily. This is kind of just to limit damage it can do. I could recover here as he attacks, but I was still a little afraid of that Focus Punch. I don't want to be a sitting duck in front of that, so I'm just going to attack to be safe. As he just goes for the standard old knockoff, gets the Life Orb recoil and goes down to that, so my Giga Drain doesn't even go into anything. Recover would have been the nice play. I'm just playing very safe right now, and to be fair, I can afford to do that because Jirachi did break down a lot of the team early, so it's not terrible. It just means that Cradily and Blastoise are kind of low to be checking the Kingdra at this point, and they're my main checks into it. But we're just going to have to keep that in mind moving forward. Magnezone comes in, and I would take a ton from Body Press, so I'm just going to switch right back out to Jirachi. I'm not too scared of what this thing to do. Actually take the Toxic just fine, and I'm just going to go for the straightforward Aura Sphere, take the Magnezone out, as he doesn't have many switch-ins to Jirachi anymore. Landorus is actually switching now. I think he's just trying to threaten me out. But, I mean, I know I don't have Shuka Berry anymore, but I should outspeed any Landorus that isn't Scarf, and I have Icy Wind for it, so I'm not too afraid to maybe let Jirachi go down even, just sack it for information, and a ton of damage with Icy Wind, so I'm just going to go for it right now. As I do outspeed, no Scarf, and it reveals the Rock Polish. So, glad I went for the Icy Wind instead of switching out there. Unfortunately, Rock Polish means that it's going to outspeed just about anything on my team right now, and get some big damage off, but I'm fairly certain I've made it clear that I want to stay in with Jirachi, so I think he will go for the offensive option in Earthquake right now, so Tornadus feels like a play that is just fine for me. This is actually a physically defensive Tornadus, so I can take a rock move okay. I should be able to survive a Stone Edge. So I'm going to go ahead and just take the opportunity to go for an attack, as I hopefully live the rock move. It's a Rock Slide. Deals a little damage, but no flinch, and we do hit with the Hurricane, which is, really great. If the Rock Slide had flinched or the Hurricane had not hit, as those moves tend to do, I would have, had to just take the next turn to go for Tailwind or Tornadus so that we could get another Pokemon in and revenge with speed after that. But it worked out for me. Tornadus is going to get to claim another KO here as Pelipper comes in, because Hurricane's free. He had to do this just to set Rain up. I understand that. And then Kingdra is here after the Rain setup. Unfortunately, with Blastoise and Cradily both low, neither of them can really switch into a Draco Meteor or Ice Beam respectively. So, you know, I could try to switch in one of those walls, but I think the safe play is I just need to make a sack here, and Tornadus feels like a good a sack as any because we have a priority Tailwind to help us out for the rest of the battle. It goes for Ice Beam, which takes us out, and because I'm reasonably sure it's going to be Choice Specs, I think Jirachi's safe enough will resist the Ice Beam, and, you know, we obviously outspeed it with a Psychic anyway, so we're just going to go for that, as he does have to switch out. Ice Beam's not going to work against Jirachi too well. As Kingler comes in, takes 2 Psychics and goes down. Actually lives the first one at 1%, but doesn't matter too much. And at this point, I have 1 turn of Tailwind left. I might as well take advantage of it with Jirachi. We can just use a Psychic and probably go down for the follow-up Hydro Pump, which, you know, it's unfortunate that we're going to have to stack something else to this, but we're just going to go for it. 4-0 win is still going to be okay. As I go for the second, he actually misses the Hydro Pump, so luck gives us the 5-0 win because, like I said, I think I know he specs, so Cradily gets to come in on that for free. We're going to take that Hydro Pump, get our special attack boost, take the second Hydro Pump, get a second special attack boost, and then from there, Giga Drain easily takes it for the 5-0 win. I do really like how the team came together. I think part of it is just that my team's matchup against Rain is really, really good. Obviously, Cradily is a big factor in that, and, you know, so is Tornadus, and Blastoise is kind of nice as well. Too bad that I didn't get to show off the Wheezing with the Scarf set or Komodo doing any setup, but honestly, I really, really like how the Jirachi came in. You know, I'm glad I have this on my team now. It's a new 180 point Mon that is not Volcarona because Volcarona's matchup here was terrible. So glad Jirachi was just able to come in, kind of be a bulky generalist attacker and kind of break down the team for me. That will do it for week 4. I'm really excited with this new team going into future weeks, so join me as we get into the rest of the season, if I make videos. I don't know. All right, see you guys, bye.